Hi, everyone, and welcome to the sixth episode of Soulful Branding Live with Lulu. Thanks for joining me live or for watching this later. It's been great just interacting with you over the past 5 episodes. Please do let me know if there are any specific topics that you'd like me to cover, and if you have any ideas, I'm happy to hear. So today's episode is titled Fearless Branding. So I've been getting a wonderful astrology kick from Instagram these days. There are a few accounts that I follow, and I really enjoy their approach to sharing about the moon and the seasons and horoscopes, etc. So I was reading a post from Spirit Daughter the other day, and the following lines really resonated with me. So I'm going to quote: "Once you see how powerful you are, then it's time to share your uniqueness with the world. Virgo season is a time to feel your self-worth and understand that no one is you. Virgo rules the sixth house of service and teaches that true service is offering your magic to those around you. Often we take ourselves for granted, not being our own perfection. Virgo season is a time to celebrate yourself and embrace your inner goddess as you share her fearlessly with the world." You can imagine how pumped I was reading this. It's so in sync with everything that the Soulful Branding course is all about. And if I can summarize, stepping into your power, aka your uniqueness, and sharing it with the world, and the service of offering this magic to the world. So I knew upon reading this that I was onto my topic for this week's episode of Soulful Branding Live with Lulu. But in case this is your first episode, I'd like to quickly introduce myself. I am Lulu Kitololo. I'm an artist, designer, brand consultant, festival organizer, and business network co-founder. So I truly believe that creativity can change the world, and I'm passionate about helping people harness their creativity, and I believe it's in all of us. Harness it in building the businesses and lives that make our hearts sing. So in 2017, I launched the Soulful Branding Challenge, which is an online course designed to help people find their voice, find their tribe, and then deliver the special magic to them that only they can. Since then, I see soulful branding in play in many areas of life and business, and this series exists to explore them. So many of us are hiding. I know from working with and being surrounded by so many amazing women in particular, but guys, welcome, that there's a real reluctance and sometimes even fear of putting ourselves out there. There's so many stories we tell ourselves which become barriers. So some of the common ones I feel that I see, that have us hiding our gifts are: I'm not good enough, or qualified enough, or experienced enough, or fill in the gap enough. Yeah. Another one I see often is I don't want to come across as vain or narcissistic. Another one I see a lot is I don't want to bombard people. I don't want to annoy them. And the last one, I don't have time, or I don't have money. So today I want to address each one of these barriers and hopefully inspire you to come out of hiding and be out there shining and sharing your gifts. So the barrier around I'm not good enough, qualified enough, experienced enough, and we can add so many adjectives there. Did you know that 70% of human beings suffer from imposter syndrome at some point in their lives? So if you're not familiar with the term, imposter syndrome essentially involves feelings of self-doubt and incompetence, despite evidence that proves that you've got this. I recently wrote a post sharing 8 ways to overcome imposter syndrome, inspired by conversations at the Afri-love Connection Club Everyday Wonder Women Talks, where a bunch of women shared their experiences with imposter syndrome and their strategies for overcoming it. So you can find that link in the notes. You'll see when you read it, and you'll be pleased to know that you are definitely not alone. Feeling like a fraud is a very common barrier to us putting ourselves out there, and it really needn't be. If you cast a critical eye over your existence, you'll see several examples of people faking it until they make it. And often we have so much more to show and share than many of the people who just decide to leave fear at home and bluff their way through. I really think it's a decision, and the sooner you decide to be bold, the sooner you'll connect your magic with the people who are in search of it, because they are out there. It's just about making that connection. So the other barrier I mentioned is this one around, I don't want to come across as vain or narcissistic by, talking about myself or showing what I'm doing all the time. And I want you to really think about the people that you follow. Maybe this is on Instagram, maybe you're on their email list, you're reading their blogs, etc. I bet you there's at least one person in there, if not 10 or more, who regularly puts their gifts forward. And they do it in such an authentic way that you've never thought of them as being vain. You've never thought of them as being narcissistic. In fact, I'm willing to bet that you proactively look for them to see what new goodness they have for you. So whatever it is that they're satisfying for you, you actually go out and look for it, right? So lucky for you, they weren't shy to share it. Can you think of at least one person who fits this bill? Good. I'm sure you can, guys. If you can't, I can share. So just let me know in the comments. I'll find somebody for you. But yeah, once you've found that one person or those several people, study them, observe how they present themselves fearlessly in their branding. And remember, branding is a full experience. It's not just their logo or their visual identity. It's a combination of all the various ways in which they express their uniqueness. So take notes as you observe them and study them, and see how you can accomplish something similar, but with your unique twist when it comes to your brand. And remember, human beings connect with other human beings. We want to relate to you because that makes us feel seen and makes us feel heard. We want to be privy to your story because that helps us feel that you're real, and it stirs something in our hearts and our souls. And sometimes we want you to inspire us or motivate us, and by being a reflection of what's possible for ourselves. So I'm challenging you and encouraging you to dust off your reticence. There is a bigger purpose to being seen. So all those objections around, vanity or narcissism, just remember the bigger purpose to being seen. Remember the vision and the mission you set out for your brand. Remember the values that guide you. I bet these have to do with creating some delight or some good in the lives of other people. So remember that. And whether you chose this mission or it chose you, you are the vehicle. You've accepted that role, and so you need to get driving. So another barrier I see a lot, or here actually, this one, in terms of us kind of hiding from putting ourselves out there, is this thing around, I don't want to bombard people, I don't want to be annoying. And so I want to address this one. So it's highly unlikely that anybody in your audience is reading every single tweet, reading every single blog post, reading every single email you share. I mean, if you can find me that person that is, then they can tell us the secret of how to stop time and how to do it all. I don't think this person exists. We all have our preferences of how we consume content, and it can totally vary depending on what the content is, the season we're in, how I'm feeling that day, etc. So how I consume content today might not be how I consume content tomorrow. So if you're putting things out in different places, there's no fear that I'm getting annoyed because I'm likely not seeing even half of what you're putting out there. And then, think back to your ideal client or customer, really focus on them again. Where do they hang out? Yeah, once you figure that out, show up there consistently and regularly. And remember, if they chose to show up there, they've also said, hey, I want this. Like if they've chosen to follow you on Instagram, they've said, hey, I want to hear from you. Better, if they're signed up to your email list, they're really saying, I give you permission to come into my inbox. You made a promise to me that made me sign up. So you need to uphold your end of the promise. You can think of it that way. And remember, if you're sending out, for instance, a monthly email newsletter, if I miss one, that means I haven't heard from you in at least 2 months. If you think about it, that's 1/6 of the year. And the less I hear from you, the easier it is for me to forget what you're all about, the easier it is for me to forget your message, to forget how you can help me, and to even forget who you are. And if I forget who you are and then I start seeing you pop up, then I might be annoyed because I can't remember. So it makes more sense to reach out to your people regularly and consistently. Now, on the flip side, the more I hear from you, the more your message is strengthened in my mind, the more I get to know you, I'm discovering all your layers, the more I get to like you, I'm finding things, that resonate, and the more my trust in you grows. And once I've gotten to know, like, and trust you, the more likely I am to buy from you and to refer or recommend you to other people. Remember that it takes a person 5 to 20 touches, or you can think of it as interactions with your brand before they make the decision to buy. So how are you showing up all those 5 to 20 times, to make them warm them up to actually buying your product or signing up for your service? How are you facilitating those touches? Being shy about being seen is definitely not one of the ways. So the final objection I wanted to cover is this one of I don't have time or I don't have money. And what we're talking about here today is essentially marketing. For many of us, marketing often ends up being one of our lowest priorities. Often we'll dedicate more time to product development or service delivery, or more often fighting fires, those daily fires that come up that you didn't anticipate. And while all of these things need some level of attention, we're really missing the boat by not dedicating a good, considered, intentional amount of that time and headspace on our marketing. And think about it this way: marketing is ultimately presenting the valuable things that we create or do to the people who need and want them. So by not shining a light on these great things we're doing regularly and consistently, we're reducing the number of people who can access our products and services. We're effectively blocking potential customers and clients from even knowing about the existence of our offering and of our business. So we're not actually serving. If we say we're out here to serve by hiding, we're not serving. So no time and no money are rarely real excuses. These are the things we tell ourselves when we haven't decided to make something a priority. Because we'll always find a way to find time, we'll always find a way to find money when we've decided that something is important. So again, as with a lot of the other barriers, the power is truly in our hands, which brings me back to the quote that I shared at the beginning. And I want to reiterate some key parts of it. Once you see how powerful you are, then it's time to share your uniqueness with the world. True service is offering your magic to those around you. Sorry, I feel like I've been talking really fast. But I just wanted to get all these points across. And if you feel you need help tapping into your uniqueness, the Soulful branding course that I developed is there to help you find your voice, find your tribe, and deliver your special magic to that tribe. So the next session, which happens to be the last session of the year, begins this weekend on September 1st. And you can sign up now via the link in the notes. Tomorrow is actually the last day to sign up. So if you have any questions about this, please share them in the comments. If you have any experiences that resonate with all of this, I'd love to hear those too. So please do share. And stay tuned for episode 7 next week. So until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. Looking forward to taking the Soulful branding journey with some of you. I know some of you who are on here just now have signed up. So I really look forward to uncovering all this stuff. It's exciting, just help guiding you in discovering your voice and putting your gifts out there. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.